Got a great idea for a business? That's awesome. For generations, really, that was the main thing you needed. But today, well, that brilliant idea is just the starting line. Welcome to the new reality of business, a world where your success is going to depend just as much on navigating a crazy, complex maze as it does on your actual product. So that brings us to the big question, right? Why? Why has the whole landscape just shifted so dramatically? What happened that turned a pretty straightforward path for entrepreneurs into this labyrinth? The answer honestly affects every single person who's even thinking about starting or running a business today. In this slide, wow, it just lays it out perfectly. Back in the day, business was a pretty straight line. You innovate, you succeed. Today, you absolutely still need that brilliant idea, but now you also have to deal with this dense web of compliance. So the key skill isn't just innovation anymore. It's innovation and adaptation. Okay, so let's break down these new rules. We're going to dive into three major areas where this regulatory maze is the most challenging: the digital world, environmental accountability, and of course, global trade. Here's the bottom line. A thick network of laws, from local city ordinances all the way up to international treaties, now touches pretty much every part of doing business. It's not just about protecting people or the planet anymore. It's a fundamental piece of business strategy. Getting through this maze isn't optional, it's the game. Let's kick things off with the first and maybe the most immediate challenge for any business today: the digital data maze. I mean, if your business is on the internet in any way, and let's be real, whose isn't, then you are already in this maze. So, what does this maze look like? It looks like this. Over 160 different consumer data privacy bills introduced by states across the US in just 1 year. That's not one law you have to follow. It's a minefield of different, sometimes conflicting, rules you have to navigate depending on where your customers live. And you can see here, it's the variety of the laws that makes it so tricky. You've got these huge, comprehensive laws like California's CCPA, which is a big one. But then you also have these super specific rules for things like biometrics, think fingerprints, genetic data, kids' privacy, even location tracking. It's this complicated patchwork, and you have to comply with every single piece that applies to you. And just when we're all trying to get our heads around data privacy, a whole new digital battleground just erupted: artificial intelligence. As this quote here highlights, for companies whose whole value is built on their intellectual property, publishers, artists, news outlets, generative AI isn't just some cool new tool. It's a potential threat to their entire business model. And this threat, it's not some far-off idea. It is playing out in courtrooms as we speak. Right now, there are more than 50 major lawsuits happening between content creators and AI developers. This is literally the new frontier of copyright law being written in real time. And just look at who's involved here. This is not some small niche issue. We're talking about heavy hitters: the New York Times, Getty Images, huge groups of publishers. These guys have deep pockets, and they're digging in for a long, long fight over how their work is used to train AI. This fight is going to define the digital world for years to come. Okay, so let's shift gears. We're moving from the digital world to the physical one. Our second maze is what we're calling the green accountability wave. For decades, sustainability was kind of a nice to have. Now, it's a must-do, and it's got real legal teeth. And believe me, the clock is absolutely ticking. Just look at this timeline. January 2025, the EU's big new sustainability reporting directive, the CSRD, kicks in. Just a few months after that, the US SEC's climate disclosure rules start to phase in. All those abstract ideas about environmental, social, and governance goals, they are quickly turning into concrete, legally required deadlines. Now, it is so easy to see all of this as just a cost. And yeah, wading through complex permits, the risk of massive fines, investing in all this new tech, those are all very real challenges for a business. But that is only half the story. These same regulations also push companies to innovate. They lead to huge public health benefits, and they can seriously boost a company's brand in a world that cares more and more about this stuff. And if you want to understand just how big that benefits side is, just look at this number. The U.S. Clean Air Act, all by itself, is estimated to prevent 230,000 premature deaths every single year. The benefit to society is just immense, and that's exactly why this push for corporate accountability is only going to get stronger. All right, for our third and final maze, and this one might be the most unpredictable, let's zoom out to the global trade puzzle. If your business buys, sells, or makes anything that crosses a border,
The ground underneath your feet is basically always shifting.
Yeah, the whole era of stable, predictable, point A to point B global trade, it's kind of over. Today, managing a supply chain means you're navigating a constant storm of tariffs, sanctions, and trade fights, where the rules can literally be rewritten overnight.
And here's the really crucial thing to get. Tariffs isn't just one thing. It's a puzzle with a ton of different pieces, and each one has its own logic. You've got Section 301 tariffs aimed at specific countries, or Section 232 tariffs on things like steel for national security. You even got emergency tariffs used to fight public health crises. Each one of these pieces is a different kind of strategic problem that a business has to figure out. So after walking through these three massive mazes, digital, environmental, and global, I know it can feel pretty overwhelming, but this is the new normal. The key isn't to get intimidated by it. The key is to be prepared for it.
This right here is the biggest takeaway. Understanding this whole landscape isn't just about avoiding a few fines, it is now a core business competency. It's as fundamental as marketing or finance. The leaders who get that, who see this stuff not as a burden, but as a strategic reality, they're the ones who are going to win. So how do you even start? Well, here's a basic map. First, assess your frontiers. You have to know where your specific risks are. Second, document everything. This means building internal playbooks for how you handle data or checking your supply chain before a crisis hits. And third, you have to stay informed, because these rules are always changing. And staying on top of them isn't just about avoiding penalties. It's about spotting opportunities before your competition does.
Which leaves us with one final, really critical question. For centuries, we thought a company's greatest asset was its innovation. But in this new era, has that changed? Is the most valuable skill no longer just about creating something new, but about being able to adapt to the incredibly complex world where that new thing has to exist? That is the new reality every business leader has to face.